It is 9:44 a.m. I'm not extremely sure how much I made on this trade. This was, I think, maybe $12, but I actually had a trade that wasn't a scratch. I've been having scratches recently, setups that don't really play out, don't really work out, and this is one that actually worked out, and I actually had a larger size than usual because of the fact that ILUS doesn't really trade with the best range. It just makes sense if, you're trading something that's, for example, from $100 to $101, and it has crazy volatility in the chart, but the price is basically the same thing. I would just rather trade a larger size just because it just doesn't move with that much range. This is nice. It got to the 16s, but this was a morning panic bounce play with IOUS. It kept downtrending, downtrending. This thing played out as like what you can call a regular morning panic bounce play, just something a lot nicer. It was down from 17, it got to 15, so that's like 13% down, and that was pretty nice. I had this trend line right here, and essentially, I was just watching it until it would get in the situation where, of course, it could have kept downtrending, but the idea was is that at some point it would try to turn around. And the idea was is that when it broke past the trend line right here, right? I placed the order at 9:39 at 15:03, so it had this candle right here, an uptrending candle, and then it came all the way back near the lows, after it pierced through the trend line, and now it's officially out of it. And when you look at this candle, so when it did that move and it came all the way back, I got in at 15.3, so I'm very happy with my entry. Worst case scenario, it breaks the day low, and there's probably going to be support at 15, and I can be able to get out. Sure, it's going to stink, but I feel like it was worth the risk. So I was in it, and I actually sold everything at once at 9:41. I don't regret it too much. It's been a while since I traded a morning panic bounce play, and it actually worked out. It wasn't like, a scratch where I just got out barely profitable or maybe a small loss like yesterday. And this one actually played out, and I got out at 15.7, 9:41, which was right here, right, actually right here. Yeah, right where it closed in this candle. And that was the bid, it seems like maybe at this point was at 15.76, and it was just right at VWAP. And this one actually broke further past VWAP into the 16s, as you can see here, which is pretty cool. If I had any shares, I would have sold into this break, in the 16. There was also like a big 470,000 share seller at I believe it was at, I think it was 15.7. When I sold back here, there was still a chance that that big seller with that many shares was still there, and he was. So I kind of got out, not taking the risk that it would, work out. But I'm gonna guess in one of these candles that big seller was taken out, and yeah, it got as high as 16. What is this? 16, almost 16.5. Plenty of chance to sell at 16. This one really worked out. And, I didn't get everything. I didn't sell, at 16.5. I didn't sell at 16, but I feel like where I sold at 15.7, it was very safe. I didn't have to play with a lot of risk in that maybe, I sell at 15.7 again, which is right here, dancing around VWAP, and it starts downtrending and then doesn't pierce through it. I just played it safe. I was also looking at this one, IGEX, because it had like a gap down. It was like down 20%. Even though it's a sub penny, I was going to consider it with just a small 25,000 shares. I never got in. This thing was a quick turnaround. I would have had an opportunity at 46, right? But it turned around very quickly, and I never really had an opportunity since to consider it, which is fine. And then there was one more. This one was the other one. It wasn't really as nice as the other one, IGEX. PHIL here wasn't that nice because it wasn't like that much of a considerable drop compared to IGEX. It just looked a lot nicer on the daily chart. And this one was trying to play off a 30 as a support level. right? When it had a downtrend and maybe it would consolidate here, hold above 30, and then make a move towards the upside. But this one actually broke under it. Big volume candle. So somebody obviously had a lot of shares to sell and it broke it under 30, and then it looks like it got itself together, and now it's at 31 by 32. The range isn't that nice either. Yeah, IGEX was way nicer because, I could have been in at 46. It was just too quick, really. And, it's a sub penny, so I'm going to be more speculative with it. And, this one got to, I could sell in theory at 5, and that would be almost a 10% move. So, yeah, that's all I have for right now. Nothing else that I'm interested in. I didn't look at AABB the entire morning. Nothing with KYNC. I'll probably remove them. They probably, just had their news yesterday, and that's about it. This one is just ugly looking. Doesn't have volume either. This one is trying to reverse, which is impressive. It's finally doing it. I'm not in the trade anymore, but if it offers some kind of a considerable dip opportunity, I might consider it. But if it's gone, if I missed it, absolutely, that's too bad. That's what I have for right now. Okay, it is 9:59 a.m. I'm really happy to see this, even though now looking at it at 17, I feel like, my sell at 15.7 was dumb. Again, I don't regret it that much because it was a big seller at that level 15.7, and it's been a long time since like a morning panic bounce play has really worked out. So this one is super nice. Best case scenario, it's already done one part of best case scenario, which is the break, like the opening price, right? And now the best case scenario on top of that would be if it goes green on a day. So that would be like the Nike check mark, right? It has a downtrend and then it uptrends, it breaks past VWAP, it breaks, the high here or the, red to green mark, whichever one comes first, and then the other. And then it uptrends even more above that, and it's green on the day. Like, really nice price action. So, yeah, this one is really cool. Really nice. If we get another proper morning panic bounce play, I'll consider selling half, which has been my plan at VWAP. And then, if it downtrends from there, below a range that it was trying to hold, I'll get out the rest of my shares. But then I can be a part of this, where I probably would have sold in the right here in the 16s. And I don't think I would have been a part of this. This isn't, that common for it to do, but I guess maybe it's due for something like that after it's been downtrending considerably. And who knows if this thing can uptrend for the next few days, which I don't think it will do, but it could. Then it could have more momentum for another morning panic bounce play. So that's pretty nice. I'll make another update. I don't see anything that I'd be interested in trading right now, but I'll make another update if I do, or if anything at the market close. Alright, it is 6:17 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I finished up $12 trading ILUS. Very happy to have seen a very successful example of a morning panic bounce play that was proper. And this one was even best case scenario again because it even finished up green on the day and higher from where it opened. If we can get another one like this, it can be ILUS in the future. It can be some other, penny stock. I will be very interested in it. I will consider trading a larger size. That's the one thing I should have done, is probably just traded larger, because this was a more ideal morning panic bounce play. I did size up, but I didn't size up enough. It turned out that with the way I was trading it and where I would have cut it, again, worst case, it would have cut the day low and I'd be out at 15 at the worst price possible. I would have only lost $9. Ideally, in that case, I should have doubled my position and that would have made it more profitable. Super nice that it worked out. In the future, just because this one worked out nicely, I'll be more interested in, trying to sell half of my position at VWAP or just under VWAP, and then holding the other half. If it breaks a range that it is holding, I'll sell it. But if it continues to uptrend past VWAP, at that point I'll be interested in selling into that, which will be a higher price. I don't think I would have been a part of this because this doesn't really happen that much when it breaks above the high from where it opened and it goes green on the day. Those two things. But yeah, definitely interested in considering, larger size on a morning panic bounce play after we just had a good example of one. NICH, this one doesn't trade with the best volume, but this one qualifies for a morning panic bounce play. Now, it's not the best in that it didn't have, three continuous green days in a row, which is what I like to see, but this thing can be a morning panic bounce play. Definitely just, I'll probably stick with it if it does it in the morning, not afterwards. Just keeping in mind that it doesn't trade with much volume. It seems to run out. And as for IGEX, this one actually went lower on the day. Not really interesting to me besides what it did in the morning. MTTR keeps uptrending, so this one could be nice. Maybe I'll consider it for a swing setup if it ever comes back down below EMA 4, but if I missed it, that's totally fine too. And yeah, that's about it. This one was interesting. It was a listed stock. I saw it. Like, I don't know why so many people were talking about it in the chat. I'm not necessarily a guy who trades listed stocks, but I did see the idea that, okay, yeah, it's bouncing back and forth. It's trying to hold this, 15.6 level, and maybe it can break the day high and do something cool. And, it did continue here, and it did the same thing here, in that it was trying to base itself right here in the. It's kind of hard to look at it now because it's made a big move since, but it broke out of this range, and yeah, I just don't like listed stocks for that reason. They just have these big spikes, which is ideal, but it can also have like a big red candle flash, which is never really ideal. But this one offered some kind of setup too. Maybe if I was more aggressive, I would have considered trading it, but I don't mind that. I just probably should have went larger on ILUS, and that's about it. Even if it didn't work out, just because of how proper it looked. That's all I have for today. I'm very happy that it wasn't a scratch. I had a trade that actually worked out with ILUS, and I could have sold it for much more. That's all I have for today.